What is Azure Data Box? According to Microsoft, the Microsoft Azure Data Box cloud solution lets you send terabytes of data into and out of Azure in a quick, inexpensive, and reliable way. So we can say that Azure Data Box is a physical solution to transfer data from and to Microsoft Azure. How does Azure Data Box work? The secure data transfer is accelerated by shipping you a proprietary Data Box storage device. You can order the Data Box device via the Azure portal to import or export data from Azure. Once the device is received, you can quickly set it up using the local web UI. Depending on whether you'll import or export data, copy the data from your servers to the device or from the device to your servers, and ship the device back to Azure. If importing data to Azure in the Azure Data Center, your data is automatically uploaded from the device to Azure. The entire process is tracked end-to-end by the Data Box service in the Azure portal. What are the types of Data Box? There are 4 types of Data Box. 3 types considered offline solutions to transfer data, which are Data Box Disk, Data Box, and Data Box Heavy. And one of them is an online method to transfer data, which is the Data Box Gateway. So we can say that we have 4 types in total. The first type is Data Box Disk, which is an 8 terabyte SSD with a USB SATA interface that has 128-bit encryption, and it comes in packs of up to 5 for a total of 40 terabytes. The second type is Data Box, which is a ruggedized device with 100 terabyte capacity, uses standard NAS protocols and common copy tools. It features AES 256-bit encryption for safer transit. The third type is Data Box Heavy. This ruggedized, self-contained device is designed to lift 1 petabyte of data to the cloud. The fourth type is Data Box Gateway, which is a virtual device based on a virtual machine, provisioned in your virtualized environment or hypervisor. The virtual device resides in your premises, and you write data to it using the NFS and SMB protocols. The device then transfers your data to Azure Block Blob, Page Blob, or Azure Files. What are Data Box components? The first component is the Data Box device. Each type of the Data Box has a maximum usable storage capacity and is transported to your data center through a regional carrier. The second component is the Data Box service, which is an extension of the Azure portal that lets you manage a Data Box device from a web interface that you can access from different geographical locations. Use the Data Box service to perform daily administration of your Data Box device. The service tasks include how to create and manage orders, view and manage alerts, and manage shares. The final component is Local Web User Interface, which is a web-based UI that is used to configure the device so that it can connect to the local network, and then register the device with the Data Box service. Use the local web UI also to shut down and restart the device, view copy logs, and contact Microsoft support to file a service request. What is the workflow of importing data to Azure Data Box? First of all, create an order in the Azure portal and provide shipping information and the destination storage account for your data. If the device is available, Azure prepares and ships the device with a shipment tracking ID. The second step, once the device is delivered, cable the device for network and power using the specified cables. Turn on and connect to the device. Configure the device network and mount shares on the host computer from where you want to copy the data. The third step is to copy data to Data Box shares. And finally, data is automatically copied from the device to Azure. The device disks are securely erased as per the National Institute of Standards and Technology guidelines. The process of exporting data from Azure Data Box is similar to the process of importing data to Azure Data Box. First, create an export order in the Azure portal, provide shipping information, and the source storage account for your data. If the device is available, Azure prepares the device. Data is copied from your storage account to the Data Box. Once the data copy is complete, Microsoft ships the device with a shipment tracking ID. The second step is receiving the Azure Data Box and connect it to the host computer, which you want to transfer the data to. The third step is to copy data from Data Box shares to the on-premises data servers. The fourth step is to prepare, turn off, and ship the device back to the Azure Data Center. And finally, the device disks are securely erased as per the National Institute of Standards and Technology guidelines. Now, let's get a closer look at how to order the Azure Data Box. To go to Azure Data Box, type Azure Data Box in the search bar. You can find it in the Services section. If you haven't created an Azure Data Box before, you can create a new one by clicking on Create Azure Data Box. We're now getting on started with Data Box page, and in this page, you can select whether you're importing data or exporting data from Microsoft Azure. In my case, I'll be importing my data to Microsoft Azure. Because, for example, I've created this account recently, and my storage is empty, and I want to fill it with my data from my local computer or my host computer. So I'll need to get an Azure Data Box to import and copy my data into it, and then ship it back to Microsoft Azure. So I'll select Import to Azure, then select the subscription, and select Resource Group, which is Res Group 0, which is a resource group I've created before. Then selecting the source country or region where I'll get my data from, United States, for example. Then select the destination Azure region. I'll select East US, for example. If I click on Apply, we'll see that there are 3 different options to select from. And you can see here that we have these 3 types we've talked about earlier in this lecture, which are Data Box Disk, Data Box, and Data Box Heavy. And you can compare the specs of these 3 options of Data Box. We have also Import and Export Job to be selected, also besides selecting one of the 3 options of Data Box. For me, I have to send a request for the operations team, but you can select right away one from these options to start the process of importing or exporting data from Azure Data Box once you receive it. So for Azure Data Box, that's all to it.
Learn with Whizlabs. Success. Certified.